Hello chess friends and welcome to Jozarov chess channel and welcome to the round 2 of the FIDE World Championship match between Nepomniachtchi and Liren. So yesterday these two top grandmasters played a solid draw. In my opinion, Nepo was slightly better but nothing spectacular. Nepo pushed the position a little bit but never enough, never created some real chances to win the game. So in my opinion, Ding defended the position a good way. It was a fair draw in the round 1. So in the round 2 today, wilder thing happened. I'm not going to reveal the result, of course, immediately, but this game was much more spectacular, much more aggressive, in my opinion. Really beautiful game, so put your seatbelts on. It was already the decisive game in the round 2. In my opinion, really an epic game so far. So let's see how the game. Ding with the white pieces opened with the move d4. Nepo's response was knight to f6. We have c4, and after move e6, knight to f3 by Ding here, the anti-nimzo or counter nimzo-indian setup. We don't want to play knight to c3. Probably black goes then into the nimzo-indian defense with this pinning idea with the move bishop to b4. So here d5, the game transposes now into structures of the queen's gambit decline. We have now a very interesting idea, sort of a theoretical novelty here by Ding Liren, although it's a little bit different move order. Ding plays a delaying move h3, hopes now black to make a clarification over in the center. Basically black should show now the cards if you're going to play a symmetrical dynamic position with the move c5, or you're going to play d takes c4, already exposing yourself going into ideas of the queen's gambit accepted. The idea about this move h3 is that in some lines of the queen's gambit declined, or even of the queen's gambit accepted, many times the knight goes to c6, and then we have ideas of knight to g4 and then control further the e5 score. So that's why in a deeper idea, this h3 is sort of a prophylactic idea, not allow maybe to get pinned by the move bishop to g4, or not allow this knight to get on g4. And I have sort of a suggestion for you when you play the game with the black pieces in these types of positions, or even if, for instance, black goes with the move a3, if if white goes with the move a3, if white doesn't play aggressively with ideas of knight to c3 or bishop to g5, or maybe even c takes d5 exchange ideas, if your opponent plays passive ideas like a3 or h3, my recommendation is to go into ideas of the queen's gambit accepted, because the queen's gambit accepted is a good opening for itself. Even with this passive ideas of whites, I think you can get good ideas of after e3 you can play a6, bishop to c4, b5, and then c5, bishop to b7, knight from b to d7. In my opinion, you have a solid position. So that's exactly what Nepo does here. So he's saying, you play the passive move, now I can go into the ideas of the queen's gambit accepted. He plays now the move d takes c4. Now comes this idea e3, and now comes again this aggressive idea c5. In my opinion, also a6, b5 is a good idea, but this move will be played afterwards here by Nepomniachtchi. So see, in my opinion, this move h3 that Ding is playing is not a problem. It's not that you're losing the game because you played h3, but it's simply a slightly passive idea, and Nepo uses now this moment and plays now aggressively in the center. So far, I think great opening theory by Nepo. So bishop to c4. Now comes this idea again, a6, b5, maybe even push the pawn further here on c4. In the game, we have now the kingside castling by Ding Liren. Now knight to c6. Further attacking the d4 square. We have now knight to c3, and you see now both of these pieces, the knight on c3 and the bishop on c4, are lined up on the c file. So that's why black has now opportunities to create some time, to create some tempi against these minor pieces. With the move b5, the bishop has to retreat, and you see now in the next couple of moves we can even maybe attack the knight with the move b4. Maybe we can also play c4. So although white has so far the central control with this pawns, what I mean, white is so far a slightly better position in the center with this 2 versus 1 situation in the center, but it's never enough because black is already challenging the center, and in my opinion, so far black has already equalized the game. So from this point on, both players I think have good chances in the game. So Nepo goes with bishop to b7. In my opinion, perfectly fine, getting use of this beautiful diagonal, hitting also the knight on f3. In the game, we have now the move a4. Very interesting idea by Ding, but it's a common idea against Queen's Gambit accepted structures. I will call it Queen's Gambit accepted because, okay, it was a delayed idea, but eventually Nepo played d takes c4, accepted basically the trades of pawns on c4. Now we have similar structures like the queen's gambit accepted, but with the exception of this move h3, of course, that Ding Liren played. a4 is a very, very common and very aggressive idea by white. White plays this move many times, is challenging really the pawn majority queenside attack that black has here. We have here, you see, a 3 versus 2 situation on the queen side, so that's why white undermines the main advantage, of course, that black has here, the pawn majority on the queen side with the move a4. Now Nepo goes b4, we have now knight to e4, and now a very nice idea here by Nepo, knight to a5. And this idea is to get the move c4. You see, c4 would create then a 2 versus 1 situation here on the queen side, would continue to have this pawn majority attack on the queen side. And basically what Ding maybe should have played here is knight to c5 immediately. In my opinion, you have to undermine simply the pawn majority here, because even if you don't play here the move knight to a5, I'm not sure if black is going to ever play this idea, c takes d4, because this move would actually help out white after e takes d4. Look at this bishop comes in a beautiful way into the game. The bishop can be activated here on the square g5, so I'm not sure if black is going to really ever take out the pawn on d4. Basically, black waits white to pick up the pawn on c5, then of course the bishop could come out with the tempo. But now after move knight to e4, as I said, Nepo plays the most interesting idea with the move knight to a5, hopes to get the move c4, and basically what Ding, in my opinion, should have played is simply knight to c5. This would simplify the game enough for both sides. Pardon me, in my opinion, this is the way to go, because after bishop to c5, d takes c5, you have maybe this idea, bishop to e4, you're trying to trade off the bishops. This is a very powerful bishop, so that's why the main advantage here that white is the bishop pair, so that's why I think the normal idea would be bishop to e4, trading off the bishops after something like bishop to e4, queen to d1, rook to d1, knight to e4, and you see now white would continue a little bit this position with the bad bishop, which is a little bit paralyzed by its own pawn on e3, but nothing spectacular. Still white is slightly better, but in my opinion this endgame would probably end with a draw in this top grandmaster level. But what Ding after move knight to a5 played, now comes one of the already wild ideas in the game. Here Ding played knight to f6, and this move causes already an imbalanced pawn structure, creates already a madness in the center of the board, because after g takes f6, notice that now finally Nepo has some attacking chances. This position is the whole different story now. Look at this, the g file attack is present. We have also the beautiful diagonal attack by the bishop. We have still opportunities maybe to push the pawn on c4, and again Ding doesn't react correctly. He plays another inaccuracy in a row. He plays now the move e4. This is not good, because you should not allow this move c4 by black. If that happens, then black has really great chances. Then black has c4, has still this 2 versus 1 situation, has the powerful bishop, has the g file attack, so too many attacking elements only black would have now in this position. So Ding makes another inaccuracy, e4. Nepo uses now this moment c4, locks now the bishop, and look at this. This is now perfect position for black. Again, I'm not saying this is completely winning, but something went wrong here already in Ding's position. Look at this bishop, very active. This knight controls the bishop, this knight controls the center, this rook is coming into the game. We have even opportunities to play bishop to d6, including another piece into the game, and even if you try to block out the bishop, then you just open this other bishop's diagonal. So too many attacking opportunities already for black. In my opinion, from this point on, the game becomes a one-way ticket in black's favor. So very wild stuff. Queen to c7. Here Nepo is showing his great attacking ideas. He's playing queen to c7. He prepares even queenside Carlsen here. Really wild stuff. So bishop to d2. Look at this. With the move queen to c7, Nepo took the natural square for the bishop, the square on f4. The bishop is paralyzed here on c1. Prophylactic move, beautiful move here by Nepo. After move bishop to d2, look at this. The pieces of white are so passive. The bishops are on the second rank, which is of course not good. Really bad position already for Ding. So rook to g8, of course. Look at this g file attack with the support of the bishop. There is this tension. We can really feel the tension already around the square g2. Rook to c1. Okay, Ding is placing the rook on the c file, where already the queen is. Of course, it's a dangerous attack, but actually after queenside castling, nothing spectacular is going on here for white. What Ding again should have played is the move queen to e1. This would be still like maybe a playable position for white, because after queen to e1 we are attacking here the pawn on b4, and we are controlling the e4 square, because in the next couple of moves we can expect to move f5, which is of course liberating the long diagonal for the light square bishop. And if f5 happens, then we want to have a protection of the e4 square. Then after f takes e4, bishop to e4, bishop to e4, queen to e4, we're controlling the square. And as we said, we are also attacking here already the pawn on b4. So this is the way they go. But after move queenside castling, Ding plays another mistake, bishop to d3. It's tempting, but it is a mistake, because after bishop to d3, it seems so that you're attacking maybe here the pawn on c4, and you could have maybe some great attacking chances. But actually after king to b8, the problem is now you cannot play bishop to c4 here. Many of us would go into this tactical sequence, but actually it's not possible, because look at this, after knight to c4, maybe you're playing something like, I don't know, queen to e2, we can play rook to c8, and after b3, that could maybe be white's continuation. Actually we can even sacrifice the queen. Look at this, very wild stuff, because if you play, we have this intermediate check, knight to f3, queen to f3, we pick up now the rook on c7. And I would not love to play this game anymore from white's perspective, although you have the queen on the board. But look at this, f5 is going to happen. We still have this beautiful attack on the g file. We still have this beautiful attack around the square g2. We will eventually include the bishop on f8 somehow into the game. The rooks are perfectly fine here. The rook is paralyzed on f1. The queen is endangered. So although, as I said, you have the queen, but in my opinion, it's again a one-way ticket in white's favor. So after move rook to b8, again, the only good move here for white is again this idea queen to e1. Ding should have played this move many times now. Look at this again, queen to e1. At least you're attacking the b4 pawn, at least you're protecting the e4 square. But Ding plays now rook to e1, and this is, I'm not saying again this is game over, but Nepo is so strong when it comes to attacks. So Nepo is so dynamic, so now he'll not miss a chance. He plays now eventually this move f5, and this is so hard to defend anymore. So it's simply a messed up game here for Ding Liren. So we have now bishop to c2. Ding retreats. Look what happens, for instance, if you play e takes f5. Then of course rook to d4 is here even an opportunity, because after something like knight to d4, we have here rook to g2. It leads even into a checkmate sequence. You have king to f1. We have here rook to f2, king to f2, queen to h2. After this one, bishop queen to g2 with the support of the bishop leads even into a checkmate sequence. So you see this g file attack is so strong that you can never really leave the protection of this diagonal. There is also the d file tension. We have to notice the rook is already lined up where the queen is. So this is also tactical elements that we should discuss here. So too many just attacking opportunities for black. After move bishop to c2, now Nepo is saying, okay, I have a great formation, I have a great attack. The only piece maybe, and that's how you should play the game. Let's flip the board a little bit. What would you do here in this position? Okay, you're saying, from black's perspective, of course, we're watching out the position. What would we do here? We have a great rook on the g file. We have the great rook on bishop on b7. The rook on the d file is perfectly fine. The only piece maybe that's bad, it's of course our knight. That's how you attack in chess. Then you say we should improve our minor pieces. So that's why Nepo played now the move knight to c6, attacks for the d4 pawn, includes a new attacker into the game. So perfect here, set up now again by Jan Nepomniachtchi. So bishop to g5, played by Ding, and this is a desperate try. Ding wants to create some kind of a dynamic position, wants to create at least some kind of a threat, but it's not working because Nepo is a great attacker. As I said, Nepo plays the brilliant rook to g5. He's saying, show me what you got. Your bishop is just standing in the way. I can always include another rook into the g file attack. Look at this. After rook to g5, we have here knight to g5. Let's go back. Even if you don't play bishop to g5, even if you play something like bishop to e3, maybe you're controlling the d4 square. It's still not working because look at this. F takes e4 can be played. Now you can play bishop to e4. And actually, after f5, bishop to b1. Again, this idea knight to d4 is working. This attack on the g file with the support of the bishop on b7 is simply too strong. You can maybe play again something like bishop to d4, but again, look at this, rook to d4. If you take out with the queen, then of course bishop to f3 happens. If you pick up here with the knight on d4, then again we have this sequence, rook to g2, king to f1. Again we sacrifice on f2, again we played it with the queen, and again you get checkmated on g2. Again the same tactical sequence is working. So look at this, as I said, you don't have so many good moves. Bishop to e3, bishop to g5, maybe bishop to b1 could be an opportunity, but still f takes e4 happens, bishop to e4, again f5. So actually, although we have a double pawn structure on the f file, this pawns are rolling. Once a pawn will be traded off on e4, then the other come on f5. So simply sort of a reloading idea here by black. So as I said, simply a bad position here for Ding. Bishop to g5, as we said, the brilliant tactical shot comes. Rook to g5, knight to g5, knight to d4. Look at this, the queen is endangered on d1. Now queen to h5 was played by Ding Liren. He's attacking the pawn on h7. He's also attacking the pawn on f7. But now Nepo goes into a calm line, f6, forcing basically the knight to retreat. The problem is now, of course, if we play queen to h7, we will simply take out the knight. After queen to c7, king to c7, this is still a better game for black with this two minor pieces against the rook, with this three dynamic pawns in this on the king side, with this three pawn on the queen side, with this pawn majority attack. Again, it's a one-way ticket. So as I said, after move f6, even if you play here knight to h7, it doesn't change anything because bishop to c5 is going to happen. This is now the cool idea. Bishop to c5 is a brilliant tactic because after something like bishop to b1, knight to b3 can happen. You maybe step back with the rook, but now a rook to h8, for instance, wins the game. The knight gets trapped. Even if you try something else, let's go back after bishop to c5, knight to f6. It's not working because queen to f4 is so dangerous, because again there are tensions around the square f2, and there are even tensions on the f file. The knight is a little bit loose here, so again it's simple messed up game here for black. So after bishop to g5, rook to g5, as we said, knight to d4, queen to h5, now f6. Ding retreated here to f3. Nepo takes here the bishop on c2, rook to c2, and now this bishop comes in a beautiful way into the game. We have now rook to d2, and now Nepo plays the beautiful bishop to d6. Look at this, both bishops very, very dangerous here on this diagonals. And the cool part is that with the move bishop to d6, we're not allowing further trades of rooks. Ding would probably love to now simplify the game by trading off more pieces, going into a situation where we would be up, of course, the exchange, but Nepo is not allowing simplifications, further simplifications. He's keeping the dynamics, plays now bishop to d6, and still keeps the attack here in this particular position. So after bishop to d6, here Ding played king to h1. Maybe something like knight to d4 could help you out, trying to get somehow the knight into the game. But again, the problem is here this pawn majority that we have discussed in the beginning. c3, c2 is going to happen. So after move king to h1, here Nepo plays the move c3 anyway. B takes c3, b takes c3, rook to d4, trying to get the rook somehow into the game. We have c2, we have the threat of the promotion. Basically nothing can be done, even if you compete somehow here on the square c1. Bishop to a3 is going to happen. So too many opportunities. Bishop to f4 is also an opportunity. So in the game, queen to h6 was played, and now after move e5, in this position, Ding Liren resigned. So too many ideas. As we said, the promotion, the g file attack. I'll not discuss everything here, but it's of course game over here for Ding. Unbelievable stuff. Nepomniachtchi wins the round 2 with the black pieces in the World Chess Championship match against Ding Liren. So incredible game by Nepo. He played this game without inaccuracies, mistakes, or blunders. Huge and great preparation in the Queen's Gambit declined, in the Queen's Gambit accepted, in the anti-nimzo-indian systems. In my opinion, this whole concept in the beginning, this move h3, is not doing anything. I like more the classical stuff, knight to c3, bishop to g5, e3 if you want to play more closed ideas. But you see, after move h3, Nepo played aggressively d takes c4, played this ideas of the Queen's Gambit accepted, played really dynamic stuff. great game. This was one of the crucial moments. Knight to f6, risky idea. G takes f6, opens the g file, and from this point on, I think Nepo took over and won this beautiful game. So deserved win by Nepo. Didn't play his best chess so far in this super final. Nepo played in the round 1 better chess, in the round 2 also better chess. So of course Nepo is now the favorite to win the World Chess Championship in 2023. So okay, I hope that you loved this game. I really enjoyed it a lot. Interesting ideas of the Queen's Gambit accepted. If you want to see also our previous analysis, check out also the game 1. Here's the link of the game. And if you like this content, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. See you soon with some more videos, and what to say, chess is the best, of course.